Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another Walking Dead Q&A video. So in this one here, I want to actually answer your guys' questions. So first of all, thank you guys so much for posting all of your questions. If you do want to take part in these Q&A videos, then definitely go and join the Discord. Their server name is Appetite for the Dead. I will leave a link down below in the description of this video. There's a lot of videos that I have planned. So today, obviously, I already posted the Negan video. You guys have already seen that. This is the Q&A video. I have a Fallout Season 2 video coming out after this. Tomorrow I'm going to have another Walking Dead Dead City video, and then I'm going to have a Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes review, as well as a Jason Universe video. And yeah, I'm just looking at my schedule here because I haven't in the last like month or so really been planning out my videos properly here. So I'm sort of, that's what I'm doing now, is like I'm really planning everything out so I know what to put out. And I would like to put out like 3 videos a day, mostly because then I can sort of do non-Walking Dead stuff. Like that's the plan, is like Walking Dead videos I can always do every day, because I know people want that. They want more Walking Dead content. So, you know, people seem to like the sort of like, you know, other stuff that I'm doing. I have tier lists and stuff planned. But yeah, I'm going to break down some of that, get into my X-Men 97 full series review. I do want to talk about Season 2, get into some of that kind of stuff. There's Fallout Season 2 as well. House of the Dragon. There's a lot of things that I'm trying to fit in here. So over this next week, it's going to be a really interesting experiment to see how people sort of receive a lot of that, which show I should probably focus on a lot more. And yeah, I'm just sort of taking it week by week, and I'll adjust things here and there. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoy the content over the next week. And yeah, so just stay tuned for all of that. So let's get into the first question here. Q&A. What if all shows come together to fight Negan one more time and fight the ultimate all-out war? It's funny that you say that, actually, because I have a video coming out tomorrow. I guess by the time you watch this, you'll already have seen that. But I can see them doing that eventually. If that is going to be sort of the end game here to all of this, like Negan ends up being the villain, I could see that being a possibility, because if Negan's the villain again, it just kind of makes sense in terms of Rick and Negan's story, right? And I just think for reuniting both of those characters specifically, you're going to have a hard time doing that if you don't make Negan the villain, right? Because he's not going to really want to see Rick. Rick's not going to really want to see Negan. So it's one of those things where it's like, how do you get both of them in the same room together? Like, I don't think they're going to do the same story where Rick, you know, he needs Negan's help. That just seems like a lot, because they just did that with Maggie, right? Like that was what Maggie did, right? Like Maggie needed his help. Like obviously there was different things there, you know, like we learned different details there at the end, but I just think that, you know, they would do something different here. And I think Negan being the villain, you know, I think is a good way in reuniting both those characters. And then, yeah, we'll just see from there. But like the ultimate all-out war kind of thing, I do really like that, but that really depends on where Dead City goes, right? So we'll have to wait and see. But Q&A, not Walking Dead related, but just wondering, have you ever seen the Planet of the Apes trilogy? If so, what are your thoughts? And will you be watching the 4th film? So yes, I've watched the 4th film in theaters. I actually got an early screening to that, and really, really awesome movie. I'm really excited for the second trilogy here. They're supposed to be doing 9 in total, so, or not 9 trilogies, but 9 movies, so 3 trilogies. I'm very, very excited. I hope that we can actually get all of that. This movie here really set up the next trilogy really well, and I've really liked this entire trilogy. I love every single movie. People can criticize this and that about them. I've liked like everything with it. And so, yeah, just expect a review on that in the next coming days here. Honestly, like I'm going to plan it out more so that I can actually have my reviews out on time. Like have it out on the Wednesday or Thursday before the show actually goes to premiere in theaters that Friday, right? So I'm going to try that, especially with like reviews. If there's a finale airing, I'm going to try review all of that, like just like I do with The Walking Dead, basically. But right now I have to catch up with some stuff here. So that's sort of like, that's the plan right now, as I'm going through a lot of this. So yeah, but that's the plan anyways. Q&A, if The Walking Dead Daryl Dixon's final season has Daryl staying in France at the end of the series, could the Rick and Daryl reunion be through a letter like the end of the original Walking Dead? What would you think of it? I don't know how I'd feel about that. First of all, I've seen a comment of someone saying that there's going to be no Walking Dead at all after Daryl Dixon season 2 and Dead City season 2. That is completely not true at all. Like, really not true. If you've been seeing what AMC has sort of been like talking about and hyping up right now, they're hyping up this universe right now because this is the next phase right now, right? Like, yes, The Ones Who Live aired, and people do kind of feel a little bit down about it right now, I feel like, but that's going to change. As soon as Daryl Dixon airs, we get trailers and stuff for that. We see the new variant walkers. We get some sort of hint at the next direction and where all of this is going here. That's going to change right away. So things feel all whatever right now, but that's going to change in the next like couple of months here. So that is just not true. And also they're filming Daryl Dixon season 3 next month, apparently. In June is the rumored start date. Maybe it gets pushed to July, but it seems like June is going to be the start date for them filming Daryl Dixon season 3. They're all talking about it. So I'm very excited to see where that goes there. But to get back to your question there in terms of the final season for Daryl Dixon, I'm assuming at that point it's going to be a season 5. I don't think Daryl Dixon's going to end with 4 seasons. I could see it getting 5 seasons. And then just depending on where we're at that point, maybe even a 6th or a 7th season. I know it seems insane, but again, you kind of have to take it as it's happening. Like, yes, right now that kind of seems crazy, but like we just have to wait and see. Like after the 3rd season, maybe it seems like, okay, the 4th will be the end. But once we watch the 4th season, maybe it really seems like, okay, they can do a 5th. They could make different comments at that point of like, no, we're going to continue this and do a little bit more, right? So I just think that this can change a lot. So I don't know when the final season is going to be, but I think for sure 4 to 5 seasons, for sure 5 seasons of Daryl Dixon and Dead City we are going to be getting here. And so if it took that long for them to, you know, or for Rick to even like send Daryl a letter and that's sort of the reunion that we get, I would definitely be very disappointed with that because I want to see both characters together, right? Seeing something like that, it's not really that personal because it's not going to feel like Andrew Lincoln wrote it. It's not going to really feel like, or Rick Grimes wrote it, right? Like, it's just not going to feel the same. You want Daryl and Rick together in the same room. So that's why I don't think that Daryl's going to stay in France, you know? If anything, it's going to be one of those things where he comes back to America and then there's stuff happening with Rick and all of that. And then at the end of that, he like says his goodbye to Rick where he's like, you know, like, I'm really happy that you're here and you're, you know, doing amazingly this and that. But France is kind of my home now, you know? And I look at Daryl like he hasn't really had a home, really, right? Like he just never really had a place that felt like home, really, ever. He's always just kind of been out there. Like he'll find places or make places, and it's just, you know, he hasn't really found a place that's like his, where he started his own life and this and that. And like in France, he's sort of doing that right now. And so we'll have to wait and see by the end of the series, but obviously you do want to get those reunions, all the crossovers and stuff, but I can just see Daryl's story in the end, just him saying goodbye to Rick and all of them, you know, after the whole Endgame story and all of that, and then just being like, I'm going to go back to France, and maybe he says goodbye to Carol at that point. I'm not entirely sure, but I just think that that's probably what's going to happen. I don't think it's going to be anything in terms of a letter, but you do continue on here saying, for example, Daryl sending a letter back with Carol to America with Rick expecting to see Daryl. He gets a letter from Carol written by Daryl saying, glad you came back, but I'm happy at home here. You'll always be my brother, etc. kind of thing. I don't like that because it's still like you would have to have Andrew Lincoln there and it still wouldn't work. It would just be like, wow, really? You're going to do that? So I don't think that's going to work. But what I think could actually work would be something a little different, and that probably could happen even this season in season 2, which is if Carol went and saw Rick, maybe Carol has a letter from Rick, right? And so when she sees Daryl, she has a letter from Rick, and it's something that Rick wrote down about whatever. That would be amazing. I would absolutely love that right there. So I think that's a possibility, but we'll have to wait and see. Q&A, ever thought about rewatching and reviewing the whole series by episode or by season? Would love to see reaction style content of earlier seasons of The Walking Dead and Fear the Walking Dead. I have done a couple videos where I went back and rewatched an episode, and so I would talk about that. I think that's sort of what I want to do right now, is just go back and watch older episodes. There's a lot of shows that I'm trying to catch up on right now, so I'm going to do that first, but I do want to get like another episode in the next like couple weeks here, you know, go back and rewatch. I'm not sure what episode yet, and just sort of get all of that done, and just kind of work my way through all of that, because like, you know, in a time like this where there's like not a lot of Walking Dead news, and like, again, it's going to be like this, like the chances of it being like this for the next 2 weeks are pretty high. You know, there could be some news that come out this week, but we might be waiting 2 weeks. We might be waiting until it premieres at Tribeca Festival. Then I think that's where we could get another teaser trailer, a release date, and just a bunch more news, like the promotional artwork and all that. Then things might get going. You know, like it's gonna be a bit, because like they took off all of April. There was like no news really. And then May, there hasn't been a lot really this month. And so I could see them sort of waiting a little bit more. Maybe not again, but just I think worst case scenario, it is that. And then, yeah, in June, we're going to get a lot more. And then July, obviously, Comic-Con's that month. So it's going to be a big build for that. A lot of interviews, a lot of stuff coming out then. And then we just kind of have to wait from after Comic-Con Comic-Con all the way until the show's premiere, which I'm assuming is at the end of September, which maybe that's not the case, but I feel like it's probably going to be the case because of, again, AMC releasing their shows and stuff this summer, and that kind of happened out of nowhere in the last couple of days or last week, which was a change from before, right? So I think that they just haven't announced it yet, but that announcement's probably coming very soon. But yeah, I do want to go back and review like another episode or two here and there, and that's kind of stuff that you're able to do right now, is that it's fun to actually talk about, the show, or get into really like crazy topics, talk about what if scenarios, or could this person be here, like where can the story go here and there, because when the show's on, you can't get into that. You're just fully focused on the show. It's impossible to get into anything else, right? So, but I'm gonna leave it here. Definitely post all your thoughts down below. Thank you guys so much for posting all of your questions in the Discord. Again, if you do want to take part in these Q&As, then definitely go and join the Discord. But yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.